Okay, and so now it's time to go ahead and polish the fork here and get it ready to go on. Luckily this fork's in pretty great shape, so it's not going to be a ton of work. But first I'm going to remove the fork cap here. I'll do that separately. You got to watch the studs here as well. And then I'm going to remove the rest of the brake pieces here. And that's just a little guard. There we go. So that's apart now. Okay, now that you got the studs out of the way, you don't have to do that. I just do that since I'm going to be polishing it and it'll make it a little bit easier. I'm going to remove the 6mm sized Allen here at the end. Hopefully. There we go. This one interestingly had silicone in it. Definitely wasn't supposed to have that. It should have a copper washer in there. Clean all that up. Wow, there's more in there than I thought. I dumped this out outside. So if you look on this, to get these apart, there's a little bitty slit there. Because this is clear coated, so it'll have to be stripped down first. You just get that in there and kind of wiggle it apart. You can kind of see it pushing there. You want to be careful, or you'll do that. Then you got to pull the seal. I usually use a smooth flat screwdriver, and sometimes I'll heat it up a little bit just to help everything kind of, release. All right, that's out. So I'm gonna go wash this up and get ready to polish. Okay, so now I'm going to reinstall the new sill. It's pretty easy. Just set it up there on top. Let me use my sill driver to go in further. Make sure it's going even. There we go. Make sure it's even all the way around. And reinstall the circlip. Then gently reinstall the dust seal. And that's pretty much done with the lower. This also goes back on, but it just easily taps on. I've got some new fork legs here. So this simply just slides through it like that. And put some grease on the fork sills here to help it slide together. There we go, just like that. Next, I'm going to reinstall the bolt on the bottom with a new copper gasket. Okay, up next you're going to reinstall this onto the fork. It just tightens on and get it tight. I'm not sure what the torque is. Then I'm going to add 125 milliliters of oil. Okay, so now it's time to reinstall the new bearings into the stem here. I'm going to do this upper one first because it's a little easier. So that one's in, and these always stick out just a little bit on these. So we'll go ahead and flip it over now and do the other side. Okay, so this side's gonna work exactly the same. I have my race here, so I'm gonna go ahead and start gently tapping that in. Okay. And then I'll switch over to my driver and finish it off. Okay guys, so I went ahead and already mounted the engine here. The first bolt to go in, once I slid the engine in and got it seated in between here, is the big bottom bolt. And you basically just get it centered because the pegs go onto the end of it, so you don't have to worry about it yet. Of course, and it goes through on both sides, so you can kind of see that there. And then here on the other side. The next one I like to do are these ones down here at the bottom. Hopefully you can see that there. There's one on either side, then there's a nut that sits up inside there. So I go ahead and pick the engine up a little bit and thread those in next. The next bolt I put in is the one that goes here across through this bracket and then has the nut on it right here. So I went ahead and slid that one through next, got the nut on it, put this place, and then these two bolts go in. And then the final piece I put in is going to be the front support, which goes right here. It has two bolts that go through on either side, and then nuts on this side, then one big bolt right here. And then that's basically how the engine bolts in, and that's really all there is to it on these bikes. It's pretty simple. The hardest part's just getting it set in there correctly. Okay, so up next I'm going to be installing the front triple clamp here. This is pretty straightforward once you have the races knocked in. So basically it just comes in just like that. The bottom one goes right in there, and then we'll put the top one in. It should go right there. Next the seal goes on, which is going to go right over the top of that, and that helps seal that. And then this piece will go on. Sometimes they call for a spacer in there, but this particular one doesn't need it. That's about where that one wants to be. Then of course the top clamp's going to go on next. Okay guys, so I went ahead and started putting in the wiring harness and some of the other components, just kind of mocking them up. It's not really the final time. I've still got some more to do, like some of these connectors need to be changed. Maybe it needs to be shortened a little bit. I'm not exactly sure. But I went ahead and started putting on some of the handlebar controls too, like the kill switch here, reproduction one, and the throttle. And I also have integrated turn signals that I'm doing on this one. And then the same over here, you can probably see it. Yeah, there it is. And those, of course, go through the handlebar along with the switch set for this right here. So, of course, I've got everything already sitting up here, getting ready to be wired together. These long ones are those handlebar control switches, so I need to cut those off. I've already got the fork covers and that kind of stuff mocked up on here too, kind of for the final mock-up. And my rebuilt brake caliper here. There should be enough room just right here for the banjo, so it all fits pretty tightly with these drag bars, if you see that. Anyway, so that's where we are on this so far, and we're going to continue working on it.